I want to go ahead right now, guys. I want to bring on one of the TTD Pro Trading moderators in True Trading Group to go over her trade of the day. Give a big Ayo TTD welcome to none other than Jessica Woodard.
Yo.
There she is. Jess, awesome trade today.
Thank you.
I mean, just an absolute bomb of a trade. Talk us through this.
It's one I've been watching for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, this is something that you've been talking about. I mean, you traded it a couple of times the last couple of weeks. You've been really following this thing, waiting for that earnings print. I mean, this was like, what was it, like a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 risk reward type of trade?
5-to-1. Yeah.
That's insane. You know, usually people talk about trying to get a 2-to-1, and you're over here ripping out 5-to-1s. So congrats all of the members of your trading group that hit this thing with Jess. Jess, talk us through this trade. What was the analysis? Like, what did you see that made you want to go after this thing? And talk me through the trade itself.
The last couple weeks, as I've been talking about this, we've been in STR and I've been talking about it in main chat. We've actually traded a few of these trades in the consolidation, but I'll walk you guys through like the bigger picture of what I was looking for. Because I think last week I was on here and I had 100% on run last week, I think. So
it was Sun Run again. It was last week you had 100% on Sun Run. It's just like it's getting abusive at this point.
I know. Roblox is like, oh, fine, I'll just do whatever I want. You love Sun Run anyway. For the last few weeks, I've been watching Sun Run form a bear flag on the daily chart. In that flag, we decreased volume in the consolidation period of the flag. Now, that's generally a good sign because then you look for an increase of volume in the break of the flag, especially on a larger time frame like this. Okay, Mike, actually, if you'll draw the flag out so they can see what I'm talking about. Yep. So we broke out of that flag 3 days ago, right? And I told members, you know, they had earnings coming up. I didn't want to jump in front of earnings because it's a total coin flip. You never know. And a lot of members were like, well, ENPH missed, you know, FSLR missed. And I just personally don't like to take those risks because if I did, I would be playing roulette in a casino, right? It's a lot more fun to do that, but this is my profession. Like this is my job. And so, you know, I hold discipline for myself not to jump in front of trades like that because it's foolish in my opinion. I told members I'm going to wait for earnings to come out. And if I miss the trade, I miss the trade, but I'm going to look for it to reset up for us. So earnings came out yesterday and I told members this morning that I wanted to see us retest 20. Okay, that's the break of the flag just below it. And then you also have your daily trend line that sits up there. So I wanted to see a retest of that area again, which I did not get. We opened up today and right off the bell, run just it was gone. It just stayed. I got back on the mic and I said, okay, that plan is gone. We're not going to retest 20 at this point. Now what I'm looking for is a retest of 19, which is your previous day's low. Okay. And that's your open. So that I wanted to see a retest of that level and a reject up there. We went right up into that level and we rejected and I got short at 19.12 was my entry. And my stop was at 1940 area. So I was watching a few things. I wanted to see what the volume looked like as we were testing that level. I wanted to see if we would reject and put a wick up there. So I wanted to give it some room. But if we broke up through there, I would get out of the trade. And I told members I'll look to reposition up at that $20 area. Got short at 1912 with a stop at 1940. And I said, my first take profit is low a day. That's exactly what we did. First take profit came off at 18.19 was my fill there. And then we flagged there for a bit. So we double bottomed, but we flagged underneath the trade line and VWAP. And then we rejected up there and we took our next take profit at 17.72 was the next fill order through the low of day. And then a piece came off at 17.56 in front of support. I was like, all right, guys, I'm just going to split this last piece into two. Cause at this point, like this was a monster already. This was a monster already.
You were risking like 30 cents.
Yeah. And this was like, by this point, it was like 10:45. I think we took that profit somewhere around there. It was like literally we were an hour and maybe 30 minutes into the day. And so I was like, all right, guys, I'm just going to split this up into two. We're going to see what happens. So my next take profit came off in front of 1723 because 1725 is support. So that was my fill there. And then 1705 was my final fill. So this was literally a monster. Like, my husband called me and he's like, oh my gosh, babe, I'll cook dinner tonight. This was like at 10:50. And I was like, babe, I gotta go. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna update my app. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want you to mess up my platform. And I was like, stop stalking me at work. I don't watch you work.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, man. That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, this is when you catch, guys, you got to realize when you catch a trade like this type of trade can make your whole week. I mean, this thing is just, and you're talking about a 5-to-1 on that final take profit. I mean, and this is just beautiful execution of the tier trading strategy, which you guys will learn as a member of True Trading Group, taking profits in pieces so you can stay in the trade longer and really maximize and get as much profit as you can out of the trades that you're right on. A lot of people really struggle, and this is something Jess is very, very good at, is riding and leaning on those winning trades and allowing herself to get as much out of these trades as she can by getting rid of the position in pieces instead of all at once. And that's how you end up you stay in the trade when you get these really big follow through moves, and you make so much more money on these winning trades than you would ever lose on a losing trade. And you can have one winning trade like this could wipe out 3 losing trades because of the 5-to-1 risk reward that you're capitalizing on when you get this tremendous follow through. And it was just beautifully executed. And I got to say, Jess, I love the adjustment on the game plan, because I mean, it was after the earnings, it was such a big gap down. You sit there and say, you know what, I mean, that's too big of a move back up there towards that level to be able to get into it. And then that readjustment at 19, and I drew the line across so that viewers can see here, but you guys can see $19 was lows of the day back here. You can see this very strong double bottom back there on the 26th, low of the day on the 2nd, and then yesterday's low from the 3rd. And then today you gapped underneath it. And then just relying on that as resistance to take the entry. One thing that you guys will learn as a member of True Trading Group, to get your entries as price comes to you instead of you running to price. One of the things that you'll notice one of the very big differences between a professional trader and just, someone that's just trying to find their way is a professional trader will let a stock come to their price target rather than chase the price of the stock. And Jess's entry here is a prime example of that. If the resistance level is $19, you can see the stock runs up to 19 and Jess gets her fill. An inexperienced trader would let the stock get to that level and wait for the stock to get down to here to say, oh, look, there's resistance. And they get their fill down here around, let's say, $18.40 or $18.30. And now you're much further away from your stop loss than Jess is. The closer you can get into a position to your stop loss, the bigger your position size can be. And that's how you can really maximize your profits on a trade like this. And that's exactly what Jess was able to do with a 5-to-1. Awesome trade.